Are you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys have learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here with Amy Hood. What is happening, Amy?
Oh, not too much. I just had my first race this weekend. It went absolutely epic. So excited to be back on two wheels. And, I'm just getting ready, training hard at the gym. I got another race this weekend.
Yeah, I know we had you had racing. I didn't have racing, but there was a ton on TV. We got pro motocross to talk about. We've got, what else do we have? We had Baja 500. We've got pro motocross. We got Formula Drift. We got GRC. We got stage rally. It's, it's kind of crazy. Not only that, but we've got James Hinchcliffe, the mayor of Hinchtown. He's going to be on air. He's making his Down and Dirty Radio Show debut. We've also got Chris Atkinson, driver for Subaru Rally Team USA. They found their way to the podium this weekend in the GRC series. He's making his debut here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show as well. And then we've got, and this one it's going to be fun, back in the house, we've got Justin Lambert, factory Polaris Razor driver. He won the UTV event overall down there in Baja, and then I'm stoked to say he was going to be on air this week. We're pushing it back to next week. Something popped up, but the newest Red Bull athlete, Andy McMillan, he also took the overall victory in Baja. He's going to be on the line as well. So all that and more coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation need. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. Another big weekend of racing action. I got to say, though, Star Car, the video, I promoted it last week. We dropped it Tuesday afternoon. I think so far we're at like 58,000 views, 1,000 likes, and 183 shares. So thanks to all you guys. We're getting some traction. It's weird. Like the start of the week, after it dropped, nobody really watched it. And I was like, oh, man, like we were down there like 1,000, 2,000 views. And then like something happened like Friday, like Thursday or Friday. And over the weekend, things like exploded. Like we were getting like 10,000 views a day, you know. So I don't know. It's like you never know how things work. It takes a while to get traction or whatever. But no, things are crazy now. So people sharing it. So thanks to everybody who tuned in for that. If you haven't checked it out, it's a recap video from the UTV World Championship. Go and check it out over there on Facebook, my Facebook page. And like it, share it, let me know what you think of it. But we got more of them coming out. We got one from Vegas to Reno in August. That'll be the next one that drops. But, that's going on. Project Action. Things are lovely over there. Thanks to everybody tuning in. This week we got Michael Tully from the Jason Ellis Show. He's going to be my guest. That'll be fun. I've interviewed Jason Ellis a few times. We got Michael Tully, his partner in crime. That is going to be an interesting one. Also a professional comedian. So that's happening over on Project Action. And so, I don't know, lots of good stuff going on, lots of racing. I know you raced some moto this weekend, blowing the rust off. How was that, Hood?
Yeah, it's funny, too, what you're talking about videos and views. And, I posted some pretty cool content from Monster Jam. I mean, it's International Donuts Day, post some sweet, donuts in my Monster Jam truck. And there's a lot of my cool saves all season, but it's so weird. I post one goon video. It's not really goon, but the video starts off with me barely being able to, having to roll over to a hay bale to start my bike. But I posted a video just the other day, I think it was on Friday, on Instagram, of me just doing some motos. I brought one of my girlfriends to the track, and she took a couple videos. And I got like 70,000 views on that thing. And it's so funny because I don't know what it is. If people think that girls can't ride dirt bikes or what it is, but everyone always seems to respond so much to when I post actual videos of me riding. And then, everyone always gets on my butt. Why don't you make YouTube videos? Why don't you film yourself more? It's not the easiest thing to do to film yourself riding a dirt bike, okay? Like, people don't understand that I don't just have a photographer that follows me around 24/7. But, no, it's just crazy how much response I get to me riding a dirt bike compared to me driving a monster truck. Like, I know my fan base is really more two-wheel kind of dominated, but, I mean, the content in a monster truck is just sick. Like, it looks so cool, but people just love dirt bikes. But anyways, all that aside, I'll probably have a lot more motocross stuff coming because, 'tis the season for two-wheels. But, yeah, this weekend was awesome. And, we just went to kind of a local race down in the States. Haven't raced at all. I've only really sat on a dirt bike about 3-4 times this year, maybe 5. But yeah, I won the women's race. I won the women's moto, both motos. And I was running second in 250B, and I was happy with that. Okay, I faded like a chump, but you know what? To be running in second in the boys' class, I'm happy with that. But throw me to the wind because this has nothing compared to Kim Hood, my dad, 62 years old, you guys, and won 450 class. Like, he's riding against, like, 18-year-old punk kids who've got nothing but stamina, and my dad won 458. Like, that is insane. Everybody kind of swarmed over to the track and were watching and couldn't believe that he beat, like, the local pro kid that comes and wins everything. And it was so awesome. I was so proud. It was a proud daughter moment. I wish that I can be as gnarly as him when I'm his age.
You know what? It's funny, too, because you say that, and it's like my dad, he raced off-road for 30-something years, right? I mean, he did battle with the best there is. And, like, I forget about that, you know, because he's hanging around the shop, and he helps us prep and work on things and welds and stuff like that. But once in a while, like, we'll take the pre-runner out or one of the razors, and I'll ride with him, and he'll just start throwing any of these slides and stuff like that. And I'm like, I forget how freaking good of a driver he is. Like, you just – and it's like your dad, like, he's hanging – well, I know, but it's just, you know, it's funny, though, because it's like, you know, they've kind of had to step away a bit because of life and, you know, and everything else, but they come back, and it's like your dad, he's still shredding, man. That's freaking awesome, especially when he's whooping the kids, you know. It's like, you know, I love that. Like, kids get all cocky and think they're unbeatable, and then your dad comes out and just slaps some sense into them, you know. It's like, no, look, you still got a lot to learn, kids.
I know. Well, he just has some fun with it, and, like, there's sometimes where he just knows when to turn it on, and there's some days he just wants to win. Some days he can give, you know, two whatevers. Like, he doesn't care. But sometimes he loves the track, or he's having a blast, and he just turns it up, like, finds that seventh gear that is, you know, only a few people can ever find.
Right.
And he just knows how to win races. It's insane. And he's so, like, naturally talented. I mean, he's ridden for, like, 60 years. Okay, this guy's been doing it forever. But he had, even racing against these young kids and 18-year-olds, like, he doesn't get tired. Like, he never gets tired. He has so much stamina. It's absolutely incredible to even watch. Like, I'm so proud that that's my dad. I hope that I can, you know, adopt some of those riding qualities when I get a little bit older here. But no, we had fun, and again, kind of back to the gym. Training motocross is so much gnarlier. I got to work so much harder to be able to keep up to them 12-year-olds that I race against. So, yeah, no, it's fun. It's been good.
Yeah, isn't that the truth, though? Like, and, you know, and I you know, wave the flag here because I'm a four-wheel racer. Like, I can get on I can just ride a bicycle over at the skate park for a couple hours and be so tired, like my arms and things like that, you know what I mean? And it's like, you forget, you have to be in shape to drive a four-wheel vehicle, but it's a different kind of shape. You know what I mean? And, like, you know, you go on a dirt bike or me even on a bicycle, and it's like you forget there's, like, you know, all these other muscles that you don't use that, you know, that are still there. And it's like, oh, crap, you know?
Jim,
yeah.
I couldn't walk for 2 days after, well, and on Friday I did an open practice where I rode all night, all day. Like, I just went hard. And then I had a race the next day, and I haven't even really looked at a dirt bike for months. And so, you know, I did double days back to back, and for 2 days I was struggling to, like, step off the curb and back onto the curb. Like, it was so funny because, yeah, you use completely different muscles, and I really kind of pushed myself a little harder than I should have because I wanted to do really good. And, man, I was feeling it. I'm still feeling it. So I got to go back to the gym today and, like, roll that stuff out. Like, my legs just squeezing so hard, and my shoulders, like, everything hurts in weird places. So it's but, you know, it's the best kind of hurt. Like, I love that feeling. Like, I love the feeling of putting it in solid motos and hurting the next day because it just means you're working hard.
It's a good hurt.
I love it. Like,
it's a good hurt.
I am weird. I'm super weird about that. Like, most chicks, like, don't even like to break a nail. Like, I love to feel pain. I love to have bruises, and I love to feel like I've been doing something. I'm a do something kind of chick.
Yeah. And then you turned all Martha Stewart in the garden, right?
Yeah, man. I come home and, you know, I'm training. I don't got time to go to the bar, so I just still stuck in my garage.
Oh, too funny, man. So yeah, no, it's been fun. It's getting hot up here in Arizona. So it's like the Razors. I don't know if they're officially parked for the summer yet or not, but it's definitely not fun when it's 115 out to take the Razors and stuff like that. So I don't know. We got some stuff we got going in the garage, but I think it's about wakeboard time for me. So. I think the Razors are retired for a couple of months and it's wakeboard season. So I don't know. That's pretty much where my head is at. That's for sure. So but we are going to take a short break here, and we come back. We got an interview with Justin Lambert, UTV champ from Baja. That's coming up, and then we got Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe. He's going to be on the line. Definitely a fun interview. And then Chris Atkinson coming up in hour number 2. Man, it's going to be a stacked show today. Lots of fun. And if you got any questions for me, it's at JimBeaver15, or Amy is at AmyHood71. And we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by my Polaris Razor teammate, my buddy Justin Lambert, Baja champ. How's everything going, Justin?
It's going good. I don't think I feel like I haven't woke up from this good dream yet.
Yeah, I was going to say things got to be going good today, but I know with you guys, you're in that interesting thing where it's win on Sunday or win on Saturday and sell on Monday. So you got to parlay all that success into actually selling some product, right?
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work, and you better believe the phone's ringing.
Well, that's always a good thing for you guys. But, I mean, I know, we've kind of been able to tell the story with you, but, you guys had that perfect season there in Best in the Desert. I mean, you've stepped up to the turbo class. Obviously, things are working for you. But, I mean, Baja, you've won a lot of races here in the States, but I'm not super familiar. Baja 500, you've got that win now. Have you won the 1,000 yet, or is that one still out there?
Our best finish at the 1,000 so far is a 3rd place. So bucket list is to get a 1,000 win as well. And man, winning the 500 was a dream come true. Last year we took 2nd. We raced our XP 1000. We raced it up in the turbo class. Took 2nd place right behind Matlock last year. And there's no way I'm quitting in Baja until I win at least one 1,000 and one 500. So the 500's under the belt now. Got to shoot for that 1,000 and then see if we can defend next year maybe.
Yeah, well, in the 500, and especially this year and last year, they've been, I've raced the 500 before, but I've looked at the course layouts, and I'm like, man, these are some brutal 500-mile courses. I mean, we go to Vegas to Reno, and it's not easy, but it's a lot of fast, rally-type roads. And, I mean, by the time the UTVs get there, it's kind of chewed up, but it's nothing like Baja. I mean, what you guys are racing down there this past weekend, dude, that's a gnarly 550 miles.
Yeah, so Baja 500 this year was a little longer than most. Usually they're around 480. This year was 515, and we earned every mile of it. And in Baja, it's definitely a rougher race. That race takes about roughly an hour longer than, say, like a Vegas to Reno. But at the end of Vegas to Reno, you feel like you could go another couple hundred miles. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the Baja 500, you're ready for it to be over.
Yeah, I know there's a picture, and I know they just caught it just right, but it's of Sims, and he's there at the finish line of Baja, and I'm like, man, it looks like his dog just got run over or something. I mean, it was like, I'm like, man, poor old Sims, they just caught it at the wrong time, and it looked like, I don't even know what to think, man. He just looked depressed and everything else. It was such a bad photo, but it was it's so summed up, I think, the Baja 500 this year.
Yeah, there's a time, obviously, at the end of these long races where you actually blink, where you've been bugged out for so many hours, eyes open, just focused, and finally get to the finish line, and you can just wipe your eyes a little bit and take a big breath and quit bugging out. And it looks like they caught that picture right at the right time.
Yeah, well, and with you guys, I mean, this year, I mean, I know, you guys had the 1,000. You're just dominating everything. That car was dialed in. I mean, was there a little bit, with the turbos and the changeover and things like that? I mean, obviously you guys have this turbo dialed in now, but, how has that been? You know what I mean? Because you were so tuned in with that XP 1000, and then the switch when you made that to the turbo. I mean, how has that been for you guys?
Yeah, back in the 2015 season, about midway, we really dialed in our XP 1000. We really got every bug figured out, and after that, it was just stacking up the wins, and that was awesome. So we obviously had an awesome season last year. Swept Best in the Desert in 2016, and but we knew it was time to move up to the turbo. Lots of people were moving up. We didn't want to sit back and sandbag in the XP 1000 class, so we decided to move up to the turbo this year, and we expected problems. I mean, we expected a learning curve, and that expectation did not disappoint. We definitely learned a lot and put in a ton of time, hundreds and hundreds of hours of testing and trying different parts, different clutch setups, things like that. These turbo cars, they make a bunch more torque, and with that torque comes more heat and more abuse on parts. So, hopefully we're I don't think we're 100% yet dialed in, but we're getting closer to 85-90%, and so we still got some more to learn here and some more to put down to the ground. And I think within the next 2 months before Vegas to Reno, we'll actually be even better.
Yeah, well, and I know, I tell you what, I feel like this year I've been thrown to the wolves. I mean, we've been racing trucks forever. I mean, my dad raced for 30 years in off-road trucks, and I've been racing trophy truck for, I don't know, for at least 10, 12, 13 years. And all of a sudden jumping into this turbo build, I feel like I've been thrown to the wolves, man. You want to talk about learning. Holy crap. I mean, it's a complete different approach. I mean, in little things I never even thought of, you know what I mean? It's just figuring this car out. It's like, I'm happy. We basically finished the Mint. We were within 2 miles of the finish there, and then we finished the UTV World Championship, but I'm just happy we're finishing races. But our speeds yet aren't quite competitive. We're just fighting all kinds of little issues and things like that, and like you said, heat, and it's just, man, there's so many things that I think guys in off-road don't think about that UTV guys have to think about. And I think with the speeds that a guy like you are running, and I just looked at the overall results, I think you beat all the 1600 cars. You beat all the Score Light 12 cars. You beat a bunch of the truck classes. I mean, I'm looking at those speeds going, plus I know you're fighting through some of this stuff nobody else has to deal with. I mean, that's impressive to me.
Yeah, we definitely were on a mission this race. But these cars, these Polaris Razors are amazingly capable, and even going pre-running in, a close to stock car with, bolt-on Cognito suspension and all of our other parts to make that thing essentially a dual sport machine. It's unbelievable the capability of these cars. And but when you go build a desert race car out of one of these things, there's definitely a little different learning curve. I mean, we're adding a bunch of weight. We're running spare tires. We're running tools, lights, all these extra things. And it does take a little bit of finesse to get one dialed in after adding all that weight. But, hey, that's part of the game.
Yeah. Well, and, what do you think? I mean, as far as, race builds go, I mean, we see, what you guys are doing, and you're pushing the limits in one direction. We see what Scanlon did, and he went all the way out in left field with his build. And then you see Reese Millen, and he's going a complete different direction with his build. And these things are getting pretty insane. I mean, we're talking full-on race car builds. I mean, they're Razors, but, they're full race cars. I mean, where do you think this thing's gonna be in, 2 years from now?
Well, yeah, so to be competitive in desert racing and a UTV now, you really got to build a purpose-built desert racing UTV. Obviously, you got to start with a platform, Polaris Razor or the like, and but we got to take that and build a purpose-built desert race car. It's not really a car that you're going to go run a short course race the next weekend or anything like that. Just to be competitive, man, there's a lot of cars out there now, a lot of smart guys building parts, and a lot of fast guys racing. So the machines are getting more and more purpose-built, and that's what it's going to take these days.
Yeah, well, and I know me. I mean, it's like, we built this one for this year, and I'm already, immediately going, all right, well, we can change this and this and this on the next one. And, and we're talking like custom parts that are going to have to be made and things like that. And I'm going, man, this is, it's some of these parts I'm looking at, and they're like miniature trophy truck parts now. It's not like, it's not like they're, just what you would think would be going on a Razor, and I think it's saying something for the class. And like I said, those speeds are crazy. For the longest time, people kind of poke fun at UTVs, and I'm like, there's no. You got guys like like we said, Reese Millen. You got Robbie Gordon racing, and you look down the list, and it's crazy. I mean, the talent level in UTV racing, and that's just name drivers. I mean, you got guys like you and Sims who are tremendously talented. You know what I mean? That are and this is where you've kind of made your made your name. But it's, I don't know. It's just the racing's getting wild and really close.
Yeah, as these UTVs evolve, I mean, every year, obviously, all the manufacturers are stepping it up. They're actually the sport modes are becoming closer and closer to race ready every year.
Yeah.
So I would imagine here in the next couple of years, it's not going to take too much money to build a really competitive race car right off the showroom floor. I mean, add a cage and nets and weld in doors, and man, you're gonna see units that are ready to race without adding a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, well, and it's even, it's like our engines now, I know in turbo, they're sealed, and had people go, oh, why don't you allow them to modify the engine? I'm like, man, I don't know. I got plenty of power now. It's enough to get me into trouble. I don't know that I need 200 out of this thing, It's like, I think Polaris built a pretty solid power plant from the get-go, I don't know how much more we actually need in one of these.
That's the beauty of desert racing too. It's not a drag race. There's obviously a lot of factors involved, saving your machine and being smart, especially in the dust. And I think that's where we made our way to the front this last weekend at the Baja 500. Is we started 13th or 14th, and man, made our way to the front here, before halfway through the race, and just kept it safe but smart and picked good lines and things like that. But, even this UTV thing growing, I mean, look at all these guys in trophy trucks and Class 1s. Look at what they're pre-running in these days.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of those guys out in Polaris Razors this last weekend pre-running.
Yeah, well, and you can build a proper Polaris Razor pre-runner for, half of what you can have invested into a buggy or a truck pre-runner, and I think that's the glory of it. Most of the parts, you can buy off the shelf, and it's not custom fabbed and things like that. But speaking of that, I mean, this is a long Baja 500. I got to ask, I know every time I go down there, you can pre-run whatever you want, but come race day, there's always something that you didn't expect. I mean, a flood or a silt bed, I mean, or a booby trap. You get any hairball situations down there this past weekend?
Yeah, I'd tell you what, I mean, you can run all you want, but on race day, that course looks totally different. The silt holes come out, the rocks get tossed across the course by the trucks and the bigger cars and whatnot. And then you'll always run across a crowd of Mexicans down there, and all of a sudden there's just a huge mud puddle or a huge mud hole, and it wasn't there during pre-running. So pretty sure they didn't have a sprinkler break or anything like that. I think they just wanted to see some action,
Yeah, they get creative with it, that's for sure. But, man, I appreciate you taking the time to call in. So what's up next for you guys? Vegas to Reno, right? We got, I think, Polaris Dealer Show in July, but Vegas to Reno in August, right?
Yeah, our next big race will be Vegas to Reno, and we've won that one back-to-back the last 2 years. So we're going to go for 3 in a row, and the pressure's on. Last year, Vegas to Reno, I think that was the most pressure I had ever seen. Vegas to Reno is a big race, and it's one of my favorites. And, man, I really wanted to win it 2 in a row, and at the end of the day, we came out on top, and, man, I'd like to do it again this year. So we're going to do some more testing in the next couple months, and you'll see us at Vegas to Reno.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, buddy. We'll definitely talk soon. Take care, and congrats on the win.
Hey, thank you, sir. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Justin. All right, that was Justin Lambert, Cognito Motorsports, taking a Baja victory. Always good to catch up with him. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here. just off the line with Justin Lambert, your Baja winner in a Polaris Razor, I might add. But always fun catching up with him. Also owns Cognito Motorsports. Looking for a lift kit for your truck, looking for some of some UTV aftermarket parts, definitely hit up Cognito and make some top-notch, high-quality gear for your Polaris Razor or your Brand X even, I'm sure. But I don't know, you don't even be driving around in that Brand X stuff. Get a Polaris Razor. Get the real deal. Lots of fun catching up with Justin Lambert. Man, we had a ton of racing going on over the weekend. I don't know, where do we even start, man? I watched some Pro Moto, a little bit of it. Obviously, I'm following the tracking of Baja. I watched both of the IndyCar doubleheader. I watched both of the Global Rallycross doubleheader. I even caught a bit of the Formula Drift live stream. I mean, it was nuts. And then I was following along with the stage rally event. Just a busy weekend in motorsports. You know, they call Memorial Weekend the biggest weekend in motorsports, right, with Monaco, NASCAR, and IndyCar. I've always said that the weekend after this past weekend is the biggest one in action motorsports. And before, we even had X Games topped on there and everything else. Can't forget we had Stadium Super Trucks going on in Detroit as well. I don't know. It's just a massive weekend if you're a motorsports fan, or at least motorsports like I like, right? So I don't know. Mainstream can have Memorial Weekend. Us action motorsports people, we're claiming the weekend after, right? I don't know. I've just always said that it's the biggest weekend in action motorsports. Didn't disappoint, right? So I don't know. We got a ton to talk about here. Obviously, let's just start with Baja, right? We're on Baja, and I talked with Andy McMillan, been talking with him over the weekend. He was going to be a guest today. He obviously is not. He got called into some really important meetings, and so he is booked for next week's show. So we will have Baja champ Andy McMillan on the line. He will be here next week. Talking about his new Red Bull deal and his overall victory. But, man, what a shootout we had in Trophy Truck down there in Baja. McMillan, Matney, and McCachran all within 3 minutes of each other. And literally, because of the way they started and the stagger, they didn't know who was going to be the winner. They were all three sitting at the finish line, and with penalties and things like that, they had no idea how things were going to stack up. So they had to sort them out. Ended up being Andy Mack on top, Matney in second, and Rob Mack in third. That was your 1, 2, 3 in Trophy Truck. Rounding out the top five overall, Luke McMillan, Carlos Abdeli Lopez, 1 through 5. Your first Class 1, I will give a shout-out to Larry Rossler. He was in Score TT Legends. He ended up taking the victory there, but 8th overall, solid effort by the legend Larry Rossler. Your first motorcycle, Francisco Arenado, 45X Pro Moto, he finished 13th overall. He was your Moto overall winner. Trophy Truck Spec ended up clipping the Class 1s. That's right. Elias Hanna taking the victory in Trophy Truck Spec, 22nd overall. Brian Wilson, your Class 1 winner. Brock Dickerson, your Class 10 winner. And then, going down, we got a lot of other classes and results. But I do want to mention Justin Lambert, 51st overall, about 3 hours off the overall victor's pace in a Polaris Razor, but he beat the best 1600 car and the best Score Lights Class 12 car, man. Amazing effort in a Polaris Razor. That's crazy how fast he was going. To mix it up, and you've got 233 entries, and to finish 51st overall in a Polaris Razor, dude, tip of the cap to Justin Lambert. It's amazing, man. Stoked to have him on air, but we got to hype that up a bit because, dude, these things are getting crazy fast. And, I don't know, Polaris laying it down, too, sweeping the podium as well. Good weekend in Baja for Polaris Razor. That's for sure. But, Baja down there, man, this was a gnarly one. It was absolutely a gnarly one down there in Ensenada. It kind of leads us into next year. This is the 49th annual Baja 500. Obviously, this November, we got the 50th anniversary of the Baja 1000. This is going to be a big, massive one. But then turn around in June, and it's the 50th anniversary of the Baja 500 in 2018. I'm hoping to get down there and race it. We'll see if that's able to happen. But, Baja 500, 50th anniversary next June. Man, that thing is going to be off the chain. Definitely looking forward to that. So I don't know. Hopefully they change up the course. I kind of don't like this course they ran this year. Just putting it out there. So it's really brutally tough and hot and nasty. But it's definitely a tough one to win. And I do have to say, B.J. Baldwin had the video and the Instagram post of the weekend. He ended up getting held up by the Ampudia brothers, and he was ramming them, running the horn. They wouldn't pull over, so he threw an Instagram video out and kind of called them out, and it's been kind of comedic to see the responses, but the clip kind of went viral, and they just refused to pull over for him, and props to BJ, man, because the boy was sure nice for him. So lots of racing action this weekend. We also had Stadium Super Trucks in Detroit, and Robbie Gordon not racing Stadium Super Trucks because Mr. Robbie Gordon was racing down in Baja. But Stadium Super Trucks running the doubleheader in Detroit with IndyCar. Shout out to Graham Rahal taking the double in IndyCar, winning both rounds. That gives us like our 7th winner in 8 rounds. And every track has had a different winner. I don't know. It's crazy. Competition level is insane in IndyCar right now. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, with Hinchtown coming up later on in the show. Stadium Super Trucks pulling the double in Detroit as well. And Sheldon Creed with the sweep. Sheldon Creed finishing 1-1 in both of the races there in Detroit, kind of a la Graham Rahal. So had a sweep in both SST and IndyCar, but Sheldon Creed with both those victories. So, man, we haven't talked a lot of Stadium Super Trucks yet this year. We should. My apologies, because I actually get a lot of requests. Got a ton of Stadium Super Truck fans that tune in. But right now, these point standings in SST, you look at how close this is. So we got Paul Morris, 291 points. He's leading, right? You got Matt Brabham. He is 290 points. He's 1 point back from Paul Morris, right? And then you got Sheldon Creed in third, 286 points. 5 points separating first through third in Stadium Super Trucks right now. Kind of insane, man. Tight racing. It's going to be interesting to see the way that shapes up. But Creed obviously got some momentum coming off that double. See how that plays out the rest of this year. But definitely a lot of momentum in his favor. And then you got to talk, we got SST going on, we got this and that. We got Formula Drift. That was at the wall, and this is Formula Drift, and it's I got to tell you, it's the wall. It's a gnarly one, right? It is gnarly, and you had Odie Bachchis taking the victory there, and I don't know. I'm just looking down through the results here. Michael Essa's second, Christoph Blues in third, but just a crazy event. If you don't know what the wall is, it's probably one of the gnarliest corners in all of motorsports. So drift. They're going straight down the straight, and immediately, as soon as you get to the first corner, it's a big right-hand sweeper. Right, they're basically running a speedway backwards, and the outside clipping point is literally the wall. So these guys are putting it into drift at over 100 miles an hour, and they're getting as close to the wall as they can. Right, it's just gnarly, hanging it all out. If you haven't seen the videos, you need to look them up. But the wall, one of my favorite events of the year, just because of that corner. I mean, it takes some balls to be able to throw it in a drift, right there like they do, in New Jersey. So I don't know, my favorite, one of my favorite FD rounds of the year, just because of the wall, quote the wall, right? But big shout out to Bachchis on the win there. Definitely a solid victory for him. It was, I don't know, it's been a change up this year, man. You expect to see, Osbo and Gittin and Forsberg and those kind of guys, and it's changed it up. I mean, seeing Bachchis and Essa and Blues up there, and Coffin. I mean, we didn't even have one of the quote name brands, in the top 4. So it's been pretty interesting. You got Turk knocked out by Bachchis in the second round. Osbo getting knocked out by Bachchis. Got to tell you, Odie, it was a tough bracket he had there, but. It's just I don't know, man. We're seeing like a changing of the guard in Formula Drift right now, and I think that's kind of cool to be able to witness this. You know what I mean? It's like you still got the guys like Fors and Turk and and Gittin and Osbo. He's kind of new, but you consider him a veteran. It's kind of weird. He's kind of right there in the middle. But you see all these named guys that have been the foundation of Formula D, and you see these younger guys moving in, and you kind of see a little shift happening, and it's really kind of cool to be watching and witnessing that right in front of us. So and then we also had some Pro Moto going down this weekend as well, and that was in Thunder Valley in Colorado. And looking at the 250s, it was Joey Savacci going 4-1, taking the victory. Alex Martin 1-4 in second, and Jeremy Martin, a couple of Martins on the podium there in third, followed by Faulkner and Osborne. But Savacci getting back to his winning ways, taking that win. But 450s, man, big shake-up there. Blake Baggett taking the win. I wouldn't have called that one. Going 3-1, and then Marvin Muskeen, he finished up in second. He's putting together a pretty solid outdoor effort so far this year, as well as Jason Anderson finding his way to the podium as well. Then you had Justin Bogle, who took the first moto victory, but then fell back to ninth in the second one, which put him outside of the podium in the fourth spot. And then Eli Tomac finished in 7-2, having some struggles there from Mr. Tomac, and that's your top five. But I don't know, just pretty interesting outdoor season, man. It's like they don't know. You don't know who's going to step up. Obviously, Marvin's got the points lead right now. We got Tomac. He's about 17 points back, and then Baggett in the third spot. And then you got Zacho, who's had a solid 250 effort. He's there in first, followed by the Martins, Alex, and Jeremy. Man, outdoors, it's been a shakeup with Roxon out and with Dungey bowing out and retiring. I don't know. It's, what is the future of Supercross? Obviously, Roxon is a safe bet when he comes back, but you never know. It's like, what is this, Supercross and motocross? Who is the future? Who's that name brand? Who's the guy that you expect to win each and every year? At this point, I'm going to say Roxon, but I don't know. How's he going to be when he comes back from his injury? I don't know. This is a question for you guys. Tweet me at JimBeaver15. I'm sure Amy'd like to chime in on this one at AmyHood71. Let us know. Who do you think's the future of Supercross and motocross, man? Who's gonna step in and who's gonna take that Dungey spot? Is it gonna be Roxon? Or is it going to be somebody else? Tomac, he's throwing his hat in the ring. Anderson, Marvin, who's it going to be? Who's going to be that perennial front runner you expect to win each and every weekend? I think that's to be determined, in the upcoming year. That's for sure. But we're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And, man, we got a couple of small segments, and when we come back, we got Joe Duncan, and we got Chris Atco, and James Hinchtown, Hinchcliffe, still coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Honey, it's the trunk load of cash at the Blue Water Resort and Casino, and they're giving away $76,000 in cash.
Oh yeah, the more we play, the more entries we can earn.
Woohoo! Plus, they're giving away over $3,000 in cash every Saturday.
Then on Saturday, June 24th, a guaranteed $43,000 in cash will be given away.
See the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just had to change that up a bit, kind of, I don't know, put a little spice into it, right? But speaking of putting a little spice into your ears, hopefully you guys have had the chance to check out Project Action on Podcast One, my new-ish podcast, spin-off to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We do a little bit of action sports, a little bit of racing, a little bit of MMA, celebrities, badasses, and everything in between. Having a ton of fun with it, man. Check out this roller coaster list of guests we've had. We've started out, we had like Sebastian Bach, Adam Carolla, and this is just in the past like month and a half. Sebastian Bach, lead singer of Skid Row, Adam Carolla, yeah, no introduction, Naomi Kyle, face model and gamer and actress and face of IGN.com. We've had those three, and then we had Ryan Dungey, Paul Rodriguez, professional skateboarder. I know I'm missing people, but holy crap, we just did Alex Stryler this past week, Uncut. You marketing people love that. I don't know. It's just been insane, the level of quality of guests that we've had. I know I'm missing some, but Antron Brown, my gosh, how can we forget Antron? We did the Indy 500 episode with Indy 500 drivers, including Hinchtown, who's coming up in this hour. Graham Rahal, your doubleheader winner. I mean, we had Alex Rossi, your winner from last year. I mean, just crazy what's happening on Project Action on Podcast One. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. If you like this show, you're going to love that one. We go further in depth, pull no punches. Occasional F-bombs and S-bombs will be dropped. It's uncut, it's raw, it's uncensored. We get behind the scenes with some of the biggest people online, period, right? In the world, some of these, whether it be racing or celebrities or anything in between, action sports. So it's just a ton of fun, and you guys have been, been great at tuning in. Need those reviews. Please, when you listen in, subscribe on iTunes and then rate and review us. If you leave a review and leave that Twitter, Instagram at username, I'll follow you back. Same goes for the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We're on iTunes as well. You like listening behind the scenes and after the fact, definitely tune in there and leave that rating review and your Twitter, Instagram at username. I will follow you back there on social media as well. But thanks to everybody who's tuned in there. And also, man, a lot of you tune in online. If you're not, though, check out my website. I got a link. We're airing in national syndication, 200 networks around the U.S. we're syndicated to, and then our American Forces Network, all our troops overseas. Thank you very much for tuning in to us on the American Forces Network. But, man, we're all over the place, so lots of places to tune in to your favorite action motorsports radio show. And, man, we're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, and this is your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com, and use that code JBDirtfish. That'll give you 15% off any purchase of any classes there at Dirtfish Rally School. So just plug in JB Dirtfish on the web when you sign up in that little box there, and 15% off. Seriously, can't do any better than that, right? 15%. It's a lot of money when you're booking a 3-day class up there, and let me tell you, that 3-day class is definitely worth it. So this weekend we had lots of racing action in rally in dirt sports. We'll get to Red Bull Global Rallycross first. I do want to mention that track there in Ottawa is out. So the next round in Canada, track is out there in the wild. Looks pretty insane, actually. June 17th, 18th, GRC moves north of the border. First time they're running up in Canada, and that's going to be a good one, man. If I had some extra money, I'd probably fly up there for that one. Just saying, man, I think it's going to be that good. But Connecticut, round number 1, it was all Volkswagen Andretti, man. Tanner Faust, Scott Speed 1 and 2. Mitchell DeYoung, first ever Red Bull GRC supercar podium, finished in third. Then it was Arpin and Dine. But Speed and DeYoung, that was the race right there, man. Those guys battled it out. And DeYoung had Speed and made a little mistake with a corner or two left, and Speed snuck in, snaked the second spot from DeYoung. DeYoung still stoked on his podium, but man, he was so close to second place. The veteran Scott Speed, you could watch him sitting back there, and he was just stalking DeYoung, stalking him, waiting for him to make a mistake, and it happened, and Speed pounced. But definitely good stuff there. That was race 1 of the doubleheader. Race number 2, my boy Steve Arpin walking away with another victory. You got to be stoked when my boy Steve Arpin wins. Pump for him. Scott Speed in second. And then we had Subaru on the podium. My boys at Subaru finishing in third. Can you tell I'm excited, man? A Subaru on the podium and Arpin on the podium, and Arpin getting the win, man. And Arpin could have been on the podium, and Subaru could have got the win. I'd still be pumped. I don't care, man. I'm just anything Arpin and Subaru and GRC, I'm all for it, man. This is man, it was definitely a good round number 2. Scott Speed there in the second spot. So put your Drivers' Championship with Speed, Faust, Arpin, DeYoung, and Erickson as your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Currently for Lights, your championship at Cyril Raymond, Christian Brooks, Connor Martell. And then looking at Stage Rally, yep, we did have some Stage Rally in action. It was Higgins taking the ARA overall victory, followed by Pastrana and Seahorn. And that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. And we're going to take a short break. We come back. We got Joe Duncan on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm R.J. Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Honey, it's the trunk load of cash at the Blue Water Resort and Casino, and they're giving away $76,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah. The more we play, the more entries we can earn.
Woohoo! Plus, they're giving away over $3,000 in cash every Saturday.
Then on Saturday, June 24th, a guaranteed $43,000 in cash will be given away.
See the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, and welcome Joe Duncan to the line. This is our Terracross Starts with Optimus segment, and don't forget, every Terracross Razor starts with Optimus starters, the best starters in the world, and they got you covered for anything power sports. How's everything going, Joe Duncan?
You know what, Jim Beaver, if they were going any better, I'd be you.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would just go that far, Mr. Duncan, but things are definitely bright and shiny here on this side of the country. But I think we've got a special guest on the line with you, don't we?
We sure do, Mr. Dave Ilya E3 himself from Polaris Industries. Hey, Dave, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, very good, guys. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing well, man. This is kind of a treat, man. We got the Polaris Razor Show. Got Dave from Polaris. I don't know. We've had I think we've had Diffusia on before. We've had Scanlon on. Now we got Dave. Like, I don't know. We're gonna get through the whole Polaris family here at some point, I think.
Well, I don't know if you can put me in those ranks, but it's pretty exciting to be on the show, and even more exciting behind the wheel of a Razor and Terracross. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, I learned something about you here a couple months back because I was copied on an email with Polaris, and all of a sudden I come to find out it was your wife that was on the email, and I'm like, holy crap, this is like a full-on Polaris family here.
Yep, that's true, and she's the real rock star. She actually works in our motorcycle division, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. It definitely runs through our blood, whether it's Monday through Friday or obviously on the track on Saturday. We're both there, and it's pretty fun. I'll tell you what, it's more than a job. It's a lifestyle for us, and it's a lot of fun. It's good. Makes for some interesting dinner conversations. I'll tell you that much.
And that's what's funny because we've seen it in Terracross, and I mean you've got girlfriends and boyfriends or husband and wives racing Terracross. Like you said, you and your wife both work at Polaris, but it's a lifestyle. I know with me, I've got an 8-year-old daughter. She's got a Razor 170. My wife, she's got an XP 1000. I've got a Razor Turbo. I mean, we go out and it's a family thing, and it really is. And and there's that hashtag Razor life, right? But I don't think people, unless you've been there. The razor life really is a lifestyle, and I think us that are in it, we get it. You know what I mean? Sometimes people on the outside don't really realize, but it's not something I go and do. It's something the whole family goes, and we all love it. We enjoy it, and we look forward to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they've said before, and I totally agree that off-road has some of the best families, right? Families play together, stay together, right? And it's so cool because guys like yourself and other racers I've met, and it's cool that we can work in the industry, but we really live it too. We really are going out, as many weekends as we can and racing, and it's cool to live it. It's a great lifestyle. I mean, we got so much time here, we might as well have a good time. This is the best way to do it, I've found.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, having a good time, there's nothing better than racing Terracross on the weekend. Sounds like E3 is on board with you. We're going to see you back in Terracross this year?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I was pretty excited to get sign a deal with them again. So I'll be racing the E3 Spark Plugs Razor 1000 with Joe and Terracross. And so, I'm really excited. Last year we had big crowds at Haydays, and we had big rains and lots of mud in North Carolina, but we had some pretty competitive racing. So, I'm really excited to get back this year. So big thanks to E3 Spark Plugs, and hopefully I can go out and represent for them and Polaris. So
Joe,
should be a fun summer.
Yeah, Joe, I'm already I'm filing a protest, man. I want E3 Spark Plugs in all the razors, or I'm protesting Dave, because I think he's going to have more power than the rest of us.
Well, you've seen what those E3 Spark Plugs do in NHRA, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what Dave's going for. Well, as you know, Jim, if we are able to run those plugs, they're in every machine as a spec item, because in a class. So if they're in Dave's, they're going to be in every machine in that class. And special thanks to Steve and Rob and John and all the guys over at E3 Spark Plugs. We're coming back on board and building a bigger program, and we got some pretty cool stuff coming. They're going to be doing some things throughout the year, and some giveaways and whatnot, and just excited to have them back on board. And it's we laugh about it, but it's really cool because Dave gets to run his number 3, and it's E3, so it's Ilya 3 spark plug machine. So on his number plates and on the windshield, it's the E3 Dave Ilya Razor, and so it's kind of a great fit. It worked really well last year. I think E3 was asking about Dave picking up the pace a little bit this year, Dave. Getting that thing. I think you got a win last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was going to say they're in North Carolina, wasn't it? Yeah, I know. I remember from TV. I was pumped, and I think I caught up with you right after that at Camp Razor, and I missed that round, but I was so pumped for you, man, because it's crazy because you can see it takes a while. People don't get that with Terracross. I know with me, it's taken me a year or two to get up to speed where I'm somewhat competitive, right? And Terracross it's a change, you know what I mean? And I think it's really tough to go in there and immediately hunt for wins unless you're somebody crazy like RJ Anderson, right? And I think with you, it's kind of cool because I've seen that ride, right, where you started out and you figured it out, and now you're up there at the top, and you're actually fighting for wins.
Yeah, definitely. It's I've done other disciplines of racing on 4 wheels and 2 wheels, and but it takes a little while to get used to the course and how quickly things happen. The course changes. There's a lot of competition out there, all in a tight course. But that's the best part about it. It's highly competitive, and yeah, it took a couple of races, but I was pretty excited. I know me and Redneck was going back and forth on points, so it was pretty fun to get that win and bring me close to points. And then unfortunately wasn't able to do that in the last race, but we're going to look for more of those this year.
Yeah, definitely. So what's else is happening in Terracross world, Joe Duncan? What can you bring us in the loop on, buddy?
We got some of the Terracross guys. Andy Ives, a good friend of Dave and mine, and Lucas Olson and Jason Luberg are all racing the Torque Series this weekend here in Elk River. So we've got the Terracross rig going there. Jeremy's bringing up the stacker, and we're going to have a nice little layout there, and we'll be at some off-road racing this weekend and watching the Polaris Razors work over those other machines out there at Torque.
Yeah, it looks like that course. I know I was up there in what was it, December with you guys for snow bike racing. I kind of took a peek at the course. Obviously, it was snow covered, but looking at the stuff now that things have thawed, man, it's a beautiful facility there, and it looks like that course is just getting better and better each year that Torque goes there.
Well, both Dave and I live within 10 minutes of there, and Plasteads and Carlson's and the whole ERX team, Derek out there who manages the track and all the grounds, they just are killing it. The amount of time, effort, and of course money, machinery that they have going in out there. Their Caterpillar, Ziegler Caterpillar is a partner of theirs, and their Caterpillar equipment has been non-stop out there, hammering down, getting that track, getting the campgrounds ready. They added another 100 and some acres, most of it camping and some more pit parking out there. So what an amazing facility, less than 25 minutes from downtown Minneapolis. I mean, what a great setup.
Yeah, definitely awesome. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to some more Terracross. I appreciate you guys taking the time to call in, Joe and Dave, and we'll definitely chat soon, guys.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jimmy.
Sounds good. Thanks,
all right.
Jim.
Thanks, guys. And that was our Terracross Starts with Optimus segment, brought to you by Optimus Starters in the Terracross Championship. Every racer in the Terracross Championship starts with Optimus Starters. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Hey, it's Shaq, and with the NBA Finals in full gear, you know we're all over it on the big podcast with Shaq. Can the King bring another title to the land, or will Steph and KD make history again? We got to cover like no one else. Plus, the biggest guests from sports and entertainment, tons of laughs, and the top stories every week, all summer long. Just go ahead and crown those champs. The big podcast with Shaq, with a new episode every Monday at Podcast One.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Like to welcome Chris Atkinson, driver for Subaru Rally Team USA, to the line. How's everything going, Chris?
Yeah, mate, it's going pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. Well, I know, this the whole Subaru thing. I mean, we'll jump back to last year, but I mean, how big was a podium for Subaru this year? I mean, it's something they've been fighting for ever since they got that win a couple of years ago. Was fair up there at Dirtfish Rally School. I mean, this is a big deal for Subaru to be back on the podium in Global Rallycross.
Yeah, we were chatting about it after and how long it had been, and it's back 2.5 years. It's a crazy drought, and I think something we wanted to break, obviously, and especially the hard work the guys have put in the car and the development over the off-season. That was a real big push, and now was time to deliver, and we hadn't done that in the first 2 weekends, so to turn it around on the third weekend was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, let's jump back to last year because, we'll talk about your career background, but I mean, how did everything get put together for last year? I mean, I know Subaru had some struggles last year, had a couple of competent drivers, but for some reason things just, the cards didn't get, the cars didn't fall where they were, and a couple rounds to go, you popped into the car, and immediately we saw a pole and in a solid 6th place finish. But how did the whole deal? How did you get approached by Subaru, and how were you brought into the fold at the end of last year?
I've been looking around Rallycross for a bit, but hadn't really looked that far into it. And obviously, the sport's been growing massively, both in the States and in Europe. So it was sort of something I was keen to do. Then came the chance to test the car, which was really just a test to start with a possibility of a drive at one event. Obviously, the test must have gone reasonably well, and they were happy with my feedback and my pace at the test, and then same at the first race, sort of just trying to help the team, give them ideas going forward as well in development, and even over those 3 events that followed on at the end of that season, we sort of improved every event, and we found more speed and just unlocking the potential of the car. The team's got all the assets there. It's just putting it all together, and you need a little bit of luck on your side in Rallycross as well.
Yeah. Well, and how has it been for you, I mean, making that transition? Because I know you've raced with factory teams, I mean, with a World Rally Championship. I mean, you've been there. You know what it takes to win. I mean, how's this transition to Rallycross been for you, I mean, as a driver? I mean, it's got to be a big change of pace, I mean, how you approach events and how you compete in them.
Yeah, it's so different. Like in a rally, you're there over the whole week, preparing your notes, building up to it, and then you're basically on your own on the stages to do your business. And then here, it's so much more intense, so much more rapid fire. You're just out, heat after heat, and semi and final. All of a sudden, the day is done, and you look back and try and piece it all together. What happened? I think the more experience I build, like I still see myself as a rookie in Rallycross.
Yeah.
I've done 5 or 6 event weekends in my career, so I'm still learning the technique and the skill of the racing. I don't think the pace and the lap times was ever really a big issue. So on that side, we were quite comfortable, but just learning the racecraft and understanding where to place yourself and what to do. And I think that came together pretty well yesterday. In the final and also in the semis, we placed ourselves well on the grid, got in good position, stayed out of trouble, and we knew if we could get clean air, we had a fast race car. So just understanding that strategy and dealing with that. But man, that final yesterday, even though it was only 10 laps and it's not a lot of driving, it was so intense, and just keeping the pace there, keeping the rhythm going, pressure from behind. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I know, even talking, I think it was with Steve Arpin a week or two ago, who ended up winning this weekend, but he was saying that they talked about even making finals longer, up to like maybe 15 laps at times, and he's like, I don't know if these cars are going to last that long with how intense things are, and that's one thing that's got to be crazy for you. I mean, you're used to pacing yourself, like you said, over an entire weekend, and here, I mean, you got to lay it all down for 10 laps, and put it together, and it's, at the end of the day, you're used to stage rally possibly conserving your car a little bit, and in Rallycross, man, you got to be 110% from the drop of the green.
Yeah, every corner, like you give away a couple of tenths, all of a sudden someone will come back at you for the joker. You can't give anything away. And I was just thinking to myself in the final, like just qualifying lap, just focus on that, drive good lines, drive clean, and then and just keep the speed up. But they're such animals and machines to drive. You have to be so on your game to keep them in control and not overdrive them as well. It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. Well, and, you're a guy who, like we mentioned before, you raced in WRC, now you're in Red Bull Global Rallycross. But, I mean, how tough is it nowadays? I mean, you know what I mean? Because, it seems like not just you, but there's a lot of drivers who are bouncing around. And how tough is it to be a professional rally driver right now? It seems like, there's only so much as far as funding goes and especially in stage rally, it seems like it's getting really harder. And you've got a guy like you that's a world-class driver, but it's really tough to get those rides, isn't it?
Yeah, I think rally is a tough game, and there's only a few spots in the World Championship, and then you look down below that, and there's not many seats available as a professional rally driver. So I've been pretty lucky to be able to do it for 15 odd years, and one, I see the future being rallycross, and two, it's a nice change as well. I've done rally for a long time, and it's pretty cool to have a new challenge and a new target. Sort of feels like the start of a new career for me, but I'm still keen to do some stage rallies, and hopefully there'll be some opportunities in the future to do that. So a bit of a mixed program will be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I know I was talking with Rob Weir earlier this year, and he was really excited because it says for the first time ever, Subaru Rally Team USA, they've got you and Patrick on the GRC side, who are both known for your stage rally, and then on the stage rally side of things, you got Travis and David, who both know how to rallycross. So he said this is the first time we've got four drivers who, you could technically jump into Travis's seat, and Travis could jump into yours, or vice versa, and and it's really cool that Subaru Rally Team's got four drivers who can drive pretty much anything as far as rally goes.
Yeah, it's sort of endless opportunities there, and creates flexibility if they want to throw an extra car in and do things like that. Of course, we're both, as crews, focused on our own series and our own championship, but we keep an eye on what they're doing, and they keep an eye on what we're doing. Like David was down there yesterday supporting us, so that's pretty awesome. And I think Subaru is a rally-based manufacturer. Like, that's its heritage and pedigree, so I can see why they've gone with rally drivers, and I don't see that as a disadvantage in rallycross. And obviously then there's a big advantage with other things like normal rally.
Yeah. Well, and what is it about rallycross? Because, I mean, here in the United States, we see it, and you're coming into Red Bull Global Rallycross, you've got Patrick, and, I mean, there's a lot of guys with stage rally background, but, you look globally and you look what's happening in Europe, and, I mean, you've got guys like Petter and Sebastian, and, I mean, the list goes on, and the stage rally guys seems like they're coming to rallycross. What is it about rallycross that's drawing you guys in?
I just think it's the way of the future. Like, it's just an exciting sport. It's awesome to be part of it. It's great for the spectators and the fans. It's always been a big challenge as normal stage rally. I still see a place for stage rally. There's no doubt about that. But it just brings our driving and our rally skills to the public in their face a bit more, and a bit more action. Just bang in your face, full intense racing, and that's pretty cool. And for us as drivers, that's what you want to do. You want to race and have fun and enjoy what you're doing, and that's all part of the package of rallycross.
Yeah. Well, and talking about 2017, obviously you guys are coming off a podium. You guys got a lot of momentum. Patrick had some solid results this weekend as well. I mean, what do you see the rest of this year? I mean, we're going to see Subaru on top of the box at some point?
You never know what's going to happen. That's the cool thing about the sport. Obviously, we'd love to get some more podiums and just some consistency in our results as well. Up there in the mix. Some weekends you'll be close to the front, other weekends you'll be midfield. That's just the name of the game. But now we've got the confidence in the package, the speed. We can plan a bit better over the weekend. We've been sort of trying to develop the car as we go on the first couple of events, and now we feel like we've got a pretty good base setup. And now we can just focus on the racing. And for sure, if we got to win, that would be insane. But step by step, and just keep working away like the team has been doing over the past few months, and we'll keep improving.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, I got to ask. I know you got your new helmet. Looks like you got Axis wakeboarding, on the helmet. I'm a big wakeboarder myself. How often are you behind the boat, man?
Yeah, I wish I was behind it more. It's back home in Australia. I got a 22 Axis, which is a sick boat. So they're made by Malibu, which is a great brand back home as well. So get out a lot over the summer. It actually works out pretty well because the GRC season is over our winter, and then get back home hopefully September, October, and get back behind it and have some fun.
Yeah, see, you mix it up, or it seems like a lot of guys are just surfers, or they're skaters, or they're wakeboarders. I mean, I know I like to do all three, but how about you? You got one specialty, or do you like to mix it up behind the boat?
I do a bit of both. We just have fun out there and take the kids out as well, and where we are, we can head down the beaches and do that as well. So it's cool to be able to do a mix. I wakeboarded a lot more as a kid, and now wake surfing sort of seems away, but I still just love wakeboarding.
Yeah, I know. I surf a bit more now. It seems like just a little more low impact. You don't have to worry about blowing out the knees as much and things like that, right?
Yeah, I'm getting old too.
Yeah.
I've got to look after myself.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate the time. I know you got a flight to catch, but good luck the rest of the season, and hopefully we can see you on top of the box and grab you for another interview.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Good times catching up with Chris Atkinson here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. One of the drivers for Subaru Rally Team USA in 2017. Him and Patrick Sandell holding down those global rallycross duties in those beautiful Subaru WRX STIs. Definitely solid social media there. I know Adco, he's teamed up with Ken Block and WRC in the past. I mean, he's a WRC vet for sure. Stoked to see him full-time in Red Bull Global Rallycross. Definitely a name driver, globally, and brings in a pretty good worldwide fan following. So awesome to catch up with him. Subaru coming off their first podium. Man, I'm predicting to win by the end of the year. What do you guys think? Hit me up at JimBeaver15. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. the Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest, the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe, to the line. How's everything going there in Hinchtown, my friend?
So far, so good. Sunny and beautiful.
Sunny and beautiful, man. I got to tell you, watching the race this weekend, dude, was your plan on Saturday to make things interesting, man? It was like, starting fifth isn't good enough. We're going to drop back a bit and still pull a podium out, though.
Yeah, I really just wanted to do that three-stop strategy, and I figured I couldn't talk a team into it, so I had to force our hand by spinning on lap one.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, dude, it was all things considered, that was a hell of a drive at Detroit to come back from I guess 22nd to podium, man. I mean, I even know the analysts on TV, they're like, oh, he's done. There's no chance he can podium now. And you pulled it out. Like, I mean, that was an impressive drive. To me, out of everything that happened this weekend, I saw that. I'm like, that was the most impressive feat the entire weekend, man. Props to you guys for making that happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Obviously the car was good. The team was able to adopt, a new strategy on the fly and make it work. The guys were good in the pits, and we had a yellow fall right when we needed it to get us back up with the guys that we should have been racing with all day had I not made that mistake. So I was pretty determined after that to make sure that I made up for a bonehead move, just spinning out all by myself there in turn one, and it was great. I mean, I had to push qualifying laps the whole race, but luckily I didn't have to save any fuel, so it was a lot of fun from inside the car. And when you're in the zone on a street circuit like that, centimeters away from the wall and just pushing like mad, it's a lot of fun, but it takes a lot out of you. And we were definitely happy to walk away with a podium after that.
Yeah. Well, and how is it for you as a driver? I mean, I race, but it's like, in off-road we get a month and a half off between events. We're very, very fortunate that way. But you guys, I mean, right now you're on such a bender. I mean, Indy, and you've got, the entire month of May, and you've got the two events and everything that goes into the 500. And then immediately you turn around and double in Detroit. You're in Texas next weekend. I mean, it's a mix of street courses, Indy, ovals, road courses. I mean, it's got to be pretty tough on you, as a driver, and just, I mean, endurance. I mean, it wears on you. It's got to wear on you after a point.
Oh, no doubt. This part of the schedule is the most grueling part, and it's not just the drivers, all the crews, all the officials, everybody involved in the series. We're all doing this together, and yeah, fine, we're the ones out getting beat up on race day, but the crew guys are in the pits, they're working long hours building cars, and in some cases fixing cars. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game too, and a lot of these guys haven't had days off in a long time, and we still have to get through another race before we kind of get a weekend back at home. And the schedule being the way it is definitely takes a toll on man and machine.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, this season, I mean, it's been pretty remarkable. I mean, obviously, you got to win there to start things off. But I think, what are we, 7-8 events in now? And Graham was the first two-time winner that we've seen this year. I mean, the competition level right now in IndyCar is just, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, anybody can win on any given weekend.
No, for sure. And there's still a lot of good guys that haven't won a race yet, so we're not going to be stopping at 7 winners, that's for sure. And, even all the different tracks we've gone to has been a different winner. Graham ran 2 at the same track, so we'll see if after Texas, if we can make it 8 for 9. And I think it just highlights, how competitive the IndyCar series is and how hard it is to consistently run up front and be fighting for wins.
Yeah. Well, and that leads me to the next question. And I know over the past week or so, I mean, Graham was really vocal about it. I know you'd had some comments on it, but you got a guy like Louis Hamilton who globally he's respected, but he starts talking about Indy and how easy it was for Fernando to come in. And I don't know that it was easy, for him to come in. I think he's just that talented a driver and he's moving into a good car. But I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I'm looking at this going, in F1, you've got like 4 guys that might win. Here in IndyCar, I mean, we've got so many. I think it's just the opposite of the way he spun it. I think there's so many good drivers and the racing is that close that a guy like Alonso can come in. I mean, it speaks to his talent level, but I think it's pretty insane right now, how many different drivers can actually win.
No, for sure. And, I think some people kind of mistook my comments as, as a shot against Lewis. It wasn't that at all. I've got a ton of respect for him, a ton of respect for Formula One. All I was doing was defending my series and my colleagues, because to say that, the talent level can't be that high if a guy can just come in and run fifth is pretty insulting. And I think that any of the top drivers in IndyCar, if they went over and jumped into Mercedes and had 8 days of practice at the same track, 6 hours a day, I bet we could go qualify in the top 5 too, because that car is so dominant. And, Fernando, an immensely talented driver, he should be in the top 5 in anything he drives. He's that good. So I just don't really understand why he said it, because I don't think anybody really agrees with him. It's just surprising. I think he could come over and do the same thing, and I don't think that's because IndyCar drivers aren't good. I think it's because Lewis Hamilton is also phenomenally talented. But when we had, 7 winners in the first 7 races, and, for the first time in 3 years, there was at least a second car that could win races in F1. It's just an interesting comment to make at that time.
Yeah. Well, and I know, I've been following along with your Mayor on Air, show, and I really can respect it, because I know me as a race car driver and hosting a radio show, sometimes it's a little bit different having to, to wear, the interviewer hat, right? And I think you've done it really, really well. But yours with Fernando, I found particularly interesting, because I think a lot of Americans, we've known about Alonso, for so long. You've heard about him and how great of a driver was, but he came over and he was so personable. I know I got a chance to meet him at the 500 when I was there, and you hear a lot about Formula One drivers, the arrogance and this and that. And I found that when I met him so not to be true, but then I think it really came out in that interview of yours, and I think, there's such a respect level there for him, but I think he's got that mutual respect for you and everything that is IndyCar.
No doubt. He came here and had a tremendous outlook on it, tremendous attitude towards, the whole event. A lot of it's very different from what he's used to. In F1, they're not asked to spend a lot of time with fans, and maybe the amount of sponsor commitments on a weekend might be a little bit different. The month of May obviously for us is pretty full on with all that sort of stuff, and he embraced every aspect of it. And I think he enjoyed every aspect of it, and for sure, a very personable guy. The comment he made during the month that I thought was funny was someone asked him what all the other F1 drivers thought about him coming over. He said, "I don't know. We don't talk to each other." It's just such a foreign concept, because in IndyCar, it's a big family. A lot of the drivers are friends away from the racetrack, and we travel together, we vacation together. We're in each other's weddings. It's a very close-knit community. So, spending 20 weekends on the road with a group of people that I don't know, I just couldn't even fathom that. It sounds miserable.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I know with you, one thing I've always appreciated about you is we introduced you as the mayor of Hinchtown, but, you've been really good with the fans, it seems like really in motorsports nowadays, it's about separating yourself, and creating a brand. And I think you've done a tremendous job. You look at guys like Ken Block, and he's got his brand, and, and you've got your Hinchtown brand, and how has that been for you? Because, you've done things, with Dancing with the Stars and things like that. But it seems like you and just being able to see at Indy, the fan following you had and how passionate your fans were. That's something really special that not a lot of drivers, get the opportunity to feel, and you've created almost this community around yourself. And it's been really interesting to see the way you separated yourself. How did this whole thing come to be? You seem like a guy, I know you've done radio and things like that, but, how did the whole Hinchtown concept come and how do you feel when you go to events and you feel the fans, that are surrounding you and backing you?
It's a great feeling for sure. We understand and are kind of taught as young drivers that, these days being competitive on the racetrack is only a fraction of what your job really requires at this level. So much of it is how you deal with sponsors, how you deal with fans, how you deal with media, and, like you say, kind of almost making a brand out of yourself, because that is ultimately what you are. You're a brand representing other brands, and to be a spokesperson for companies that are spending millions and millions of dollars so that you can go racing, it's a huge responsibility. And so for me, it's something that I've embraced, from the beginning of my career, because I understood, very early on that without that side of it, you don't get to go racing. It's very simple. And I had some very good people, around me early in my career that helped me understand that and helped me, learn the best ways to kind of navigate the off-track side of the sport. And I've been very fortunate in that sense. And, the kind of birth of social media has been really fun, I think, for the motorsports community, because it really does give us a new way to connect with fans. And they're ultimately why we do this. They're why we get to go drive around in circles for a living, is because we're entertainment and we're putting on a show for fans. And so it's a very important part of our job, and it's something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, and I know IndyCar too. I've seen, a shift in the past year or two, and it really seems like, they're making a shift towards, the under 35 demographic, that everybody goes after, and they've got the whole Next program and things like that. And it seems like as a whole, I'm seeing a shift in IndyCar, towards that younger demographic and towards, similar to how you're presenting yourself, and I found that really, really interesting, and I think the future IndyCar in the next 2 to 3 years, I definitely seeing it getting more youthful and as far as a fan base goes. And I think, the way you've presented yourself, you're kind of right there on the, on the bleeding edge of that. I mean, how's it been for you, to almost be kind of a trendsetter and kind of following that wave of IndyCar towards, the youthful market?
It's the number one concern of every, I think, sporting body right now is how to capture that demographic, and if there's a way that we as drivers can help that, we're going to be all for it. Guys like Tony and Elio and, to a lesser extent, maybe Scott, some of the older guys, they got a little less to worry about. They've got more races behind them than in front of them. But for guys like, myself and Joseph and Graham, we hope to still be around doing this for a long time. And for that to happen, we need to make sure that kind of next generation of fan is paying attention and is loving what we're doing. And so that's why I think a lot of us in the series have taken, a huge amount of time and a huge amount of pride in trying to engage that demographic and fans in general. And that's not to disclude guys like, Tony and Elio, because they're as big into it as anybody. We're all very passionate about this series. We all want to see it grow, and so we're all doing our part on track and off.
Yeah. Well, and talking about the next generation of fans, too, I got to ask you about this next generation IndyCar, because I haven't really had a chance to talk to any of the drivers yet on it. But concept drawings come out. This thing looks insane. I mean, what are your thoughts on the new car you guys are going to be wheeling?
It looks awesome. I think it really is a cool kind of throwback design that it kind of blends, a little bit of the future of IndyCar with a little bit of the past of IndyCar. So from an aesthetic point of view, I think it's beautiful, and we just can't wait to get behind the wheel and see how it performs.
Yeah, for sure. So, you got we're about midway through the season now. I mean, what do we predict? What do you see? The rest of this year going into this weekend at Texas, and then for you guys and your team. I mean, what's it going to take to repeat Long Beach?
I mean, if you look at the first half of the season, I don't think you can predict anything. That's what's so cool about the IndyCar series right now, is that it's so competitive. And we've had good cars on street courses, certainly. There's a couple road courses coming up that we've been strong at in the past. There's a few ovals coming up we've been strong at in the past. But everything can change, in a year, and you just don't know one weekend to the next, and certainly 1 year to the next, if a track's going to be kind to you or not. So we just kind of have to keep our head down and keep focused on, executing the way we have been, and hopefully we can find ourselves up in victory lane before too long.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, James. I know you're busy heading off to Texas later this week. Good luck, my friend, and we'll definitely talk soon.
All right. Thanks so much. Take care.
All right. Thanks, James. All right, and that was the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe. Man, talk about a fun guy. This is a guy you need to be following, whether you're an IndyCar fan, an off-road fan, a rallycross fan, a NASCAR fan, I don't care. Hinchtown, man, this guy is a A-plus class act. Glad to have him on the show. Lots of fun. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. But IndyCar in Texas this weekend, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships. against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris racers RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Big shout out to all our guests today, man. Justin Lambert, overall winner of the Baja 500 in the UTV division. We had Dave Elliott, Joe Duncan. We had Chris Atkinson, driver for Subaru Rally Team USA. We had Hinchtown James Hinchcliffe. Talking a little IndyCar, man. It was a ton of fun today. My co-host, Amy Hood. Great having her on to kick off the show. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in each and every week. All our amazing partners, Polaris, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF for all your transportation needs, Optimus Starters, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Wakeboard Island officially open. If you're looking for some fun on a wakeboard, definitely checking them out. I am Jim Beaver. It's at Jim Beaver 15. Amy is at Amy Hood 71. Don't forget to tune into Project Action. Drops every Thursday on iTunes, Podcast One, the Podcast One app, as well as downanddirtyshow.com. You can rate, review, subscribe over there on iTunes, and when you leave that review, leave your Twitter, Instagram at username, and I'll follow you back. And those of you looking for a coupon code for Dirtfish Rally School, don't forget it is JB Dirtfish. Lots of action this weekend. We've got, what do we have, man? We got a ton of action coming up. We got Pro Moto. We got Torque coming at you from Elk River. We got some more World Rallycross coming up. Man, just a lot of stuff on the burner. And don't forget, next week we got Andy McMillan on the line. And don't forget that Polaris RZR Star Car video is out. It's been I've been live a little less than a week, but already we're pushing for 100,000 views. So go over to my Facebook page at Jim Beaver 15 and check it out, and make sure and give it a share and a like, and let me know what you think. But we will be back next week with some more Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. One of our guests will be Annie McMillan, your 2017 Baja 500 champ and new Red Bull athlete. So looking forward to that interview and a whole lot more coming at you next week on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. Be safe. As always, game on.